Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I've got a great video for you today. This video is going to cover wedding videography, and it's going to cover an interview that I had with a company called Bride&Groom.Video. I was interviewed by Olga. She's a customer service manager. She also works with the teams as far as the editors and the videographers with this company. And she reached out to me in an email, wanting to know a couple tips that I had for time-saving tools. And she had a list of like initial 5 different types of programs and softwares that they use to kind of work in-house with their teams. And then, once the conversation got started, we went into a lot more detail, covering questions from equipment, client consultation, the actual delivery of the video, kind of what platforms and softwares that they're using to do that, my take on my workflow and what I use, and then we ended it with client delivery and ways that are software that you can use to interact with the client if they have questions on the video or they want to redo it. But I'm looking at their website right here. Let's go back to the home page. So they are an editing partner for wedding videographers. So they have a team of editors. They can help you edit your final video. You can send it to them. And just spent a couple minutes on here looking around, but check them out. I have a link to this article once it's completed later. So check in the comments later for that link. It won't be necessarily in the video today. But yeah, this is the interview. So I'm just going to get right into it and hope you enjoy.
Hi.
Hey, we should be good now. I'm in Chrome. I was in Safari, so that's probably the problem.
I see. Oh, thanks for your time. Thanks for answering my email.
Cool, that's cool. So you got you're putting together a blog post to help out videographers kind of with their workflow and stuff like that?
Yes. So we work with videographers a lot. So we have our hacks how to from editing side, yes, but also we are interested in the full general information about their work, and what they usually use. So ways to our programs, tools, etc. But also it's interested to know another side. So maybe there are some useful tips for us as well. So it helps both sides.
Yeah. So I've used a lot of the stuff that you listed in the past, but I have a whole new workflow that I think is much better. It's more. Not that those are not good, because everybody kind of has their own thing. So maybe you start with those and then.
So this interview is for such things to know your side, your opinion, because I hope to do a few more videographers so we can get the general information and maybe we will change something in our workflow.
Yeah, no, I love to help. I put some kind of notes down. Not sure how you wanted to kind of kick things off for the call.
Okay, you told that you used some of those tools that you mentioned in the doc in the past. So, for example, which tools were that, and why do you decide to change them?
Are you helping videographers with kind of like their workflow with client consultations?
So we help. So I manage a team of wedding video editors. So mostly we work with wedding videographers, but also we do corporate promo videos, music videos, etc. So
yeah,
but mostly we work with wedding videographers and help with their editing and just for our to increase our skills and our workflow for them. So it's great to know their sides. That's why we decided to make a small survey to check it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
and
so in a case you need some editing help, feel free also.
I'll reach out. So what's nice is, first up, I'm going to do like a screen recording because I like to help people with like tips and stuff like that. So I have a YouTube channel. Is it okay if I post this to help out?
Sure.
Perfect.
Sure.
Perfect.
You can post in the message. Yeah. Here, so I will check it and then take some useful information as well.
Yeah, I'd love to link it back to you so that when people see the video, they can kind of go back to you for the article to check it out.
Great.
So the first thing that I find with workflow is it all starts with the client consultation. Like it's the first time, number one, that you're going to either sell that product or service, but at the same time, you're getting all the information you need to do a really good job when you're filming. So if you can nail that consultation, so I typically do a phone consultation. And the first part of my workflow, once the client goes to a website, is they're going to fill out a type form. Do you know what type form is?
Yeah.
So type form is like jot form. It's essentially a contact form. But what I do is I structure the type form so when they complete it, it's actually a pre-walkthrough of the consultation I'm going to have with them on the phone. So it's going to go through every question I want answered first. That way when I get on the call, I already kind of have a general idea of, I actually pre-do their wedding quote for the videography. That way when it's time to book it, everything's already done. We're in the moment, everything's kind of clear. So that type form is so important because I see where the wedding's happening, if I need to travel, what they're looking for, how much time, if there's like any different things happening between like wedding ceremony, cocktail hour, and reception, like if they're in different locations, if it's going to be on a beach, anything like that I need to prepare because I'll need all that information to kind of help them throughout the day. So once they fill that type form, they'll book an appointment with me on Calendly. And that way they can, starts the workflow for me to make me, it's a time-saving tool, kind of getting back to this article. And they'll go through the type form. At the end, they'll submit it and they'll be invited for a consultation. So they find a time on the calendar, they schedule a time with me. That automatically pops up on my Google Calendars. And that's how I keep track of everything. So I'll go into Google Calendars, I'll kind of look at my week and start to plan out where my consultations are. I might spend maybe 5 or 10 minutes just kind of looking at those to see, do I need to figure out, have I done this wedding at this location before? Is it in a different state? All those logistics. Because you really only have that time during the consultation to ask those questions. And then at the end, close the deal, book the wedding. So time is really important in the consultation, not just these time-saving tools to help you stay organized. You're kind of in the moment during that consultation. And you may know this from booking weddings, but it's just so important that the hour consultation, you check all that off, you got all the questions answered. So the next step is really, they're booking, and then you're going to do a follow-up, maybe one more call before the wedding just to iron out details. So after the Google Calendar notification comes through, I do the phone consultation. And the phone consultation, like I said, goes through the type form, answers all the questions that I have on my end. And then the next step, this will be the biggest step, I think, to help your audience and people that you work with, to help them save time. And instead of using Honeybook or Trello, I use Tave. So that's Tave. It sounds crazy, but Tave is like changed my life as far as a business goes.
I first hear this tool for the first time. Thanks. I will check it.
Yeah, it's
some kind of CRM, yes. Where you can keep all contacts. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it helped out everything because I was using Trello, I was using Google Drive, I was using all this stuff, and the problem with it, those things don't play well with the client. So you can't really, that workflow doesn't mesh. So you need some type of CRM that's going to help you with managing the communication with your client, contracts, reminders of when payments are due, stuff like that. And you need it to be automated so that you can kind of focus on consultations and selling and not the mundane stuff of reminding them of payments and stuff like that. So Tave is incredible. It's now owned by a company called Shootproof. It's still Tave, but Shootproof is a company that is mainly for photographers. Tave originally was more for photographers. I'm a big visual person, and I kind of take visual stuff. I guess videography, right?
Yeah.
So if a software looks good and I can show a client that first impression, I'll go with that versus something that may be more analytical, and it might work better, like almost like an Excel sheet, but Excel's not pretty. Like,
I see. So I will check. A little bit about us. We use Trello as task manager because, when we work with different videographers, also each of our editor has each own project or maybe a few projects at once. So, and Trello, we use like a task manager. So this is project in the progress, for example, and this project was sent for the reviewing to the client. So yes,
so more internal. It's more of internal management.
Internal, yeah.
Yeah.
What about according to CRM? So Honeybook, honestly, we also, I just noticed that a lot of videographers use this CRM, but we use HubSpot. It's also a good, great tool. All contacts, all the necessary information, reminders, etc., always available there.
Yeah, those are all great. And I know exactly what angle you're coming from with managing, because I have another DJ that works with me and kind of helping his stuff stay organized. But like the Trello boards, like that's perfect for exactly what you're doing. Kind of keeping that workflow organized, especially when you have, people want their video, but you got to keep all the other videos organized so you can deliver their video. Trello is perfect for that. Kind of from my end, I do more of I'm a one-man operation as far as videography goes. I have more people as far as on the DJ side, but videography is just me. And that's only just my style. It's hard to me to compile what other people are feeling when they help me film, kind of where they're looking at, angles, kind of what they're picking up when they're filming. Trello is perfect for exactly what you guys are doing. One more thing about Tave, why it's so great is that is the software where I put together everything from my type form. So I take my type form that they did, and before the call, I put all that information and I build their account in Tave. Regardless if I close the deal or not, I always act as if it's already booked. I take everything, I put it in like the client is already booked. That way, when I'm on the call, it's all there. The quote is already done to like 99%. The only thing that would change would be maybe a discount and their hours of service. But what's nice is once you build all that, when the client is ready to buy, a payment processor that I use is Stripe. Are you familiar with Stripe?
No, we use PayPal or bank transfer. So
yeah, Stripe is great. The experience is, I've used Stripe for maybe 9 years now, and it's very simple. It integrates with Tave, and when you get to the client booking and they look at their quote, in Tave, they'll go through, you'll check everything, you'll go to approve the client. You'll email them. They'll approve the quote, and it's beautiful. Like it's you can really visually make the quote look really nice. Like you got a nice header with a nice picture of like,
So you can customize, there is an opportunity to customize all these fields, this form for them to send,
So when they see that quote, they're not seeing something that looks like a receipt. They're seeing like, it's matching what your services are charging. So you can really make it polished, super high end. And then the client's like, oh, wow, they got their stuff together. They scroll down, they accept the quote. It takes them into the next menu you can customize. And it says, go ahead, place your deposit. And then once they do all that, Tave takes care of everything else. It takes care of letting you know that you have an upcoming event. It automatically reminds the client that they have an invoice due, so you're not having to run around, chase that last deposit. I mean, the worst thing in the wedding world is it's not the client paying. It's reminding them about something that is not fun to do before their wedding. Even though if they love you to death, it's like you don't want to be invoicing them a week before their wedding, a couple of days before your wedding. So I have it set to 1 month prior. Their final deposit comes in. That way I'm set, they're set.
Sorry, something with the connection. Can you repeat? So you ask a final payment in the months before the wedding, yes? Correct?
Yep, 1 month prior. That way it's not too soon to where they're kind of wondering why you're getting the final payment before the wedding date. But it's enough to where once they make it, they don't have to worry about it, and they can kind of get in their own world, and you're not the vendor that's asking them for money and distracting them from getting ready for their day. So that makes them they feel good. Also, I use it as a trigger to trigger my final consultation with them. And that's where, so we'll set a, just in case, okay, this is kind of more on the professional side. All right, clients, this is not for you, so ignore this part of the video. But I do this because if there is a client that does need to work on getting that final payment in, it's a soft reminder that you can put in at the end of the conversation if you have not received the payment by the consultation. So, I'm sorry, not consultation. Let's call it the review call before the wedding. So you schedule that 1 month out. That way you can go over timeline, any details. I've had changes of venue 1 month before because, something happened that I had no idea. And they're like, oh, Nick, by the way, it's not going to be on the beach now. It's actually going to be in the ballroom. It's like, oh, thank you for telling me.
Nice one.
Yeah, because I'm so analytical that whatever's on the contract, whatever's in the quote, like that's where I'm going. So if a planner hasn't told me that it's somewhere else, especially during this time that we're in, there's been a lot of venue changes, and I've had some funny text messages where like, oh, Nick, by the way, it's at this hotel, not this hotel. And it's like...
And it was in the morning while you go into the wrong hotel?
Yep. So, but that's the thing about weddings is like, weddings aren't that time to practice your skills. Like, it's almost like a military operation. Like you gotta just hit the ground running and whatever happens. And sometimes it's good. But, so Tave will manage the rest of that whole process, and then give them reminders. So I've never asked for a final deposit in 9 years because it always does it, and it does it in a way to where it's like it's impersonal. It's a third party, like computer machine that's asking them for money. It's not you. Even though
it's much easier because sometimes I need to ask for final payments from our clients, and it's not always pleasant thing.
And also, if you have a client that like when you really care about you're wanting to help them out. It's not about like making the money. It's about, you know, helping them work with a vendor that they can trust and that's human. So Tave will actually let you break things up in installments. So you can program it to break it out into like 33%, 33%, 30, like 3 payments. You can do 150% deposit, break the second up into like 25. And I rarely do that. That's much on a case-by-case basis, but you can do that in the software. So, you know, contracts, reminders, just the visual of it. That's why I like Tave so much. I'm kind of a cheerleader for it, but I'm not sponsored by it or anything.
You just enjoy this program. It's great.
The next thing I wanted to get into was that'll help you with client consultation workflow. That's a really good time saver. The next thing that is just killer. I had a friend that I saw what he used to deliver this software to deliver the final gallery to a client. And I was just like, I used to rent equipment from him, like gimbals and stuff like that. I was like, what is that? I saw it on his computer because I thought he made it. I was like, what is that? He says it's MediaZilla. Have you heard of them?
Oh, yeah, I heard that. We started with it firstly, but then something went wrong and just for our side, it's not very suitable.
Yeah.
So if it's okay for you, yeah. I know that a lot of videographers use MediaZilla, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
But I know exactly where you're coming from. They updated it, I think. Ever since then, it's been difficult to use. You really have to dig into the menus and figure out how to put things together that you used to be able to easily put together. That might be where you guys are coming from. But for anybody out there, MediaZilla, it's like a professional way to deliver a client. It has a gallery. You can store all their footage there. It now has a feature where the client can create their own album indefinitely. So I think if you even canceled your account, the client would still be able to access footage. So that's pretty nice. That's the only thing I use to deliver. I don't use Dropbox or Google Drive. The equipment that I use to film on, I love it, but the bit rate is just through the roof. It's very, very big files, and MediaZilla is nice because it's got, you know, I can have hundreds of gigs. I don't have to limit myself on bit rate. I'm real picky with details.
So do you shoot full HD or maybe 4K?
I shoot full HD, so 1080p, 60 frames per second. However, the camera I use is a Canon 1DX Mark II. So to kind of nerd out a little bit on this video, the camera shoots in motion JPEG, which is probably the worst format to edit in, but it's very raw, you know, footage. It's essentially a bunch of pictures that are taken and made into a movie file. So when I import it, it's terrible, but I love it because it's just the quality. It's so good. You know, you can really work with it. And I needed a camera that most of my filming is in 120 frames per second, full HD. I mean, 1080p. So it's 1080p 120. A lot of my stuff is slow motion. So the ceremony, first dances and intros, that'll all be regular speed. 80% of the rest of the night is very like romantic, stylized, cinematic type, you know, a lot of like lens flares and just like cool transitions, stuff like that. So that's the equipment that I use, but it's really hard to use cloud storage for that. For time-saving tools, for storage, this is expensive, but it does save you time. And if you can get some type of, not server, what am I trying to say? I'm missing the word. Multiple hard drives. What am I trying to say? Like a like a tower. What am I trying to say?
So you use drives, hard drives. I guess I understood what do you mean.
Yeah,
some
that's
of our clients. We talked with him about this. I don't remember how it's called, but yeah, I understood what you mean. I guess.
Yeah, RAID array. That's what I'm trying to talk about.
Yeah.
A RAID. So I have a RAID hard drive. It's a G drive, 18 terabyte RAID array, and it connects via USB-C, or it's Thunderbolt 2, so it's really fast. But I use that just to dump everything on first. Once I get home from a wedding, I dump everything on there. It's really quick because it's very fast. It's RAID, and it sucks everything in it, and I don't have to worry about it. I'm also picky too. I don't delete the footage off the cards until I at least have exported the wedding ceremony, and I have done 2 more backups. So RAID array, my computer, and it's on the cards. So that's kind of my 3 rule. Anyway, so cloud storage, that's kind of all I can help out on that. I used Dropbox in the beginning, but I had a different camera. It was okay to wait overnight to.
And one more question about footage. How long do you usually keep your footage? So I don't know, a year, maybe 2. Or you keep all your footage for the last year.
You don't have to do this, but I keep it forever. So but the only thing that I don't keep the whole day. I'll keep ceremony, first dances, anything that I deliver to them, because I don't deliver raw footage unless they specifically request. And then if they do that, they have to pay for a hard drive for me to put that stuff on. But as far as everything else, it might be 10 gigs or something like that. So I'll keep that. I mean, I'm sure there's a point where I'm going to fill up. It's a hard life, right? The hard drive life. I probably have like 20 hard drives, or 30 hard drives.
Just I guess in the Facebook groups, I read some posts or something like that. I don't remember. So some of videographers keep their footage for a few years and use drives, and I just imagine always the room full of these drives, because I understand. So you need a lot of hard drives to keep all this stuff.
Yeah, and then I'm sure that I've backed up something more than once.
Yeah,
it's probably like it's on 4 other hard drives, but it's just, as a professional videographer, that's something you don't mess with. It's just like, I'll take care of buying more hard drives to back up your stuff, because DJing, you DJ the wedding, everybody has a great time, it's over. That's the loop. But videography is, you can sit down, now let's start to work on it. Now it's editing. So even though the day seems like it's the big deal is really sitting down, processing and editing all that footage. But yeah, cloud storage, there is a way so that it can kind of grab that footage, small bits over time. Not sure if you do that, but you can have like a offsite server that just every day pulls a little bit of information off of a certain folder, and that way you're not killing your internet and kind of bogging all that up. So look into that as far as cloud storage. MediaZilla for delivery, Trello. Oh yeah, okay. So I'm really glad you brought up MusicBed. MusicBed is the best. It's
yeah, I know. So we last year we had a subscription. So when we bought the music bed subscription and the license was over almost for a year, yes, there was voting in our team which service to take for the music. So music bed, Soundstripe, and Artlist, I guess. So most of our editors choose music bed just because there are really big number of music, so different lists. So it is easy to find necessary music because, for example, some of our clients use Soundstripe, and they ask to choose the music from that platform. And some of our editors spent, I don't know, for a few hours to find an appropriate song or something like that. Yeah, when they work with music, that it's much faster.
And not just faster, it's good music. I mean, it doesn't suck, for lack of a better word. I mean, that's the hardest thing when I started filming is I'm coming from a DJ background and I'm trying to put music to my videos, and I'm looking around and I'm just like, it's so cheesy. There's no emotion in it. It's like, there's got to be something better, you know? Yeah. And I've always been of the mindset that I want to license music for my clients, and for none other than the reason of they can put it on their website or whatever, and they have the rights to do that. And I mean, the worst thing is to share your masterpiece that you put together, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know, getting taken down when they try to share it to their friends. So they're actually trying to show people what you made, and it's like, oh no, you don't own the rights to that. So that's number one. But you're right, music bed, you can, for anybody that doesn't know, you can go in, you can find the style, the vibe, the BPM, so how fast or slow the song is, you can do that. If you want acoustics, instrumental, vocals, guitar. And for an editor, the waveform, being able to see the waveform of the music, that's like a digital picture of the music, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. You know this.
For me, no. For me, no. Some of editors, yeah, but for me, no. I'm not editor, really. I'm that person in the team who usually asks a stupid question about trade and different stuff.
No, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I mean, that's why we're having this conversation right now, right?
Yeah.
So when I talk about waveform, think of it as if you had the whole song stretched out, it's a picture of the song when it rises in volumes and it lowers in volume, and then there's moments of quiet, and then there's a big rise or a build. Like dance music. There's always like this build, and then there's the drop. You can visually see that before you buy the song and while you're listening to it. So I always, and this might be OCD, but I always, before I buy a song, I need to know that it has like a gradual intro, a build, and then a quiet section in the middle, because that's usually when I'm doing the first dances, or I'm doing an overlay of audio for like a ceremony. So they're saying their vows, but I have some B-roll footage that's going on top of that. So I need to see that in the song before I buy it. I don't want to figure it out later that in my mind I see this whole moment happening, and then I can't get the music to match with it.
You are visual, as you told. You need to see the music.
Yeah, I need to see the music. So, so that's what we do when we DJ. We have software where we can see the music and find the places that we want to cue it and mix it. And for videography, it's the same thing. Like I need the day to start. They're going into the ceremony. They might be doing like a first look. And then I need that quiet time to kind of do like a drone shot or whatever. And then I need to start building again because, they're going to be fist pumping later. Mm-hmm. I need the music to match the fist pumping. I can't have like a piano playing in the background. So, that's just kind of my take. But a music bed, yeah, that's awesome. That's very good. Okay, I've talked too much. Ask
So honestly, you answered, I guess, all the questions. So you told all the information about tools that you use. So according to this party, I guess it's okay. I don't have questions. I just have, if you don't mind, general question about you as videographer, because just to know, so about you for the future, if you decided someday to work with us, how many cameras do you usually use? What program do you use? What is your turnaround, for example? So it's just for the statistic, for our internal statistic to understand. So
Yeah.
can you tell me?
Yeah.
Great.
So delivery is interesting. It kind of floats around with however many weddings I'm actually filming that weekend. So if I'm doing 2 weddings a weekend for like the next couple weeks, delivery might be 4 to 6 weeks. If I have just 1 video or 2 that month, it can be as soon as 2 to 4 weeks. As soon as possible, maybe in the next couple days after the wedding, I try to just knock out the wedding ceremony itself, because it's straight footage. It's 2 camera angles.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
We just moved to another office, and I'm left alone. Our team has gone, and they just gave a key,
Gotcha.
so I can close everything.
Cool. Yeah. So as far as what I use, as far as I guess we were talking about like workflow and equipment during the wedding day. Oh yeah, delivery dates. I try to get the ceremony out as soon as possible. It's straight footage, so I can overlay all the audio files and the main. I use my B-roll to map everything. So like my A camera, which is the main camera that I'm using for the close-ups and everything, that's laid on top of the B-roll, which is the second camera. I used to use like a Canon 80D or some type of crop sensor camera. Depending on the location, I might rent a better camera. Like if it's really low light or some type of like pavilion or something like that. It's very rare. I do weddings in Charleston, so it's on the water. It's way overexposed, so I'm using like neutral density filters and polarizing filters, stuff to darken my lens so that I can not overexpose. So that's a really important thing, especially with weddings and wedding ceremonies. Have some type of ND filter on your camera, because you cannot control the light with the shutter speed, because it's going to get kind of muddy, and it might look okay, but that cinematic feel, it just is gone. I mean, you might as well just have a camcorder and start filming the wedding. But yeah, that type of equipment for B-roll. My main camera is the Canon 1DX Mark II. I love that because the autofocus on it is so good. When I first started, I was all artsy and stuff like that, and I was like, I only use manual lenses. I'm a professional videographer. I only use manual lenses. Like, okay, that goes out the door, because you need the quality. So I started to go more for quality and color, and I really liked that. It kind of changed my style. I slowed down. I was more composed with my shots and stuff like that. So just learn your cameras and really focus on when you're filming. Don't film forever. Film to edit. Think that you're sitting down to edit. Pick the things that are the most important that you see coming in, like stuff that your gut's telling you to get. Don't just film because you're worried you're going to miss something.
It's great when you have a plan, when you can see. So it's really helpful because, you know, even during the editing, some of our teams usually tell, oh, this guy knows what he do, because there are moments that he understood with the shots the editor has, he understands the ideas of the videographer, because he sees the plan, what videographer, why videographer shooted it, and what he wanted to say and to see in the highlight, for example. I'm sorry, if you don't mind, I will move because my laptop is almost done.
Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, I just left, so I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'll talk while you walk if that's okay.
Yeah, I'm back to my place.
Nice.
I just moved because not to worry our guys, and they are left, so I can sit on my place.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Cool. So so that would be kind of the equipment side, and then so audio would be the next portion. You may be a great videographer, but audio trumps anything you can film. Audio has to be better than video almost all the time. That's just my opinion. But the reason is, if you have an iffy shot film-wise, but you have excellent audio, you're going to feel fine. If you've ever watched a video where it's like 4K, but the audio is terrible, you just can't watch it. It doesn't matter how clear it is. So it's always the inverse. Audio has to be the best, then the video quality. So that's kind of my rule. So you need to have the equipment to film properly. So audio recorders, like an H1 or like a Zoom recorder, or Tascam, stuff like that. And then learn how to set the levels properly, learn how to mic the wedding officiant. So my rule is 3. I always have 3 devices. The wedding officiant has a microphone, so I'm actually wearing one right now. So I can, because, we have so much hard drive space. Like, so even if this interview was 5 minutes, it's going to be great audio quality. Like, that's the whole thing. Especially I'm doing like a spring recording here. But yeah, just to kind of fast forward, I know I'm talking a lot. So for the audio recorders, make sure you learn how to do that. Mic the wedding officiant with a solid microphone, not a wireless. Don't rely on anything to be transmitted somewhere else and get interfered. At weddings, there's planes flying over. Planes will actually interfere with mics. I don't know if you guys have experienced that. Charleston is right by a big airport and Air Force base, and it knocks stuff out sometimes. So have dedicated stuff. So the wedding officiant, always mic the groom, never mic the bride. Don't mic the bride. Technology is so good now that microphones will pick it up if you know how to use them properly. Don't mic the bride. And then my little trick, I never have to use it, but again, it's just like hard drive storage where you got to do 3. I'll take a little handheld recorder. I might hide it under like the first row seat at the wedding ceremony. I've like hid it like in a planter bucket, like by the, thing that they get married under, the pergola or whatever. Just for my peace of mind that if the officiant's messed up, if the groom's messed up, and my shotgun mic on my camera messed up, that recorder on the ground on the first row is gonna be fine. Because there's nobody doing a wedding. Like, once the wedding's done, that's it. It's over. Okay, getting into, so you got great video equipment, you understand audio. We're gonna move into editing. So I started off with Final Cut Pro, and then I moved into Premiere. And then I moved back into Final Cut Pro.
Final.
Yep. And there's all this stuff you make up in your head, like, well, Final Cut Pro is not really professional. I need to be Premiere. Like Premiere, Adobe, that's the whole thing. The problem is...
now DaVinci is...
Oh, yeah, Resolve, yeah. I've been enticed to use Resolve because that new controller they came out with, but I don't know, just kind of stick with what you know. Like, I became super pro in Final Cut. Like, I knew everything, but I still felt like I could be better. So I went to Premiere. Then I learned Premiere. And there's just some things about workflow and Final Cut that are a little bit more creatively easier. There's not a lot of boundaries. So, you're kind of working with like these pictures and bubbles and kind of moving it around. And I think your creative mind can use Final Cut easier. Where Premiere is very strong, in my opinion, is like color grading, overlays, maybe like a little bit of After Effects if you want to do like title intros and stuff like that. Final Cut's not good. You have to really dial stuff in to make it look pretty. And I've gone full minimal. So I don't do that like flowers and like calligraphy on the intro. That's gone. Like when they hit play, it's either like an epic drone shot or I actually use elements from the wedding day as the intro. So like if there's a wood board with their name on it, like the couple's name, or there's like a napkin with their name or something like that, that's what I use to show their name at the beginning of the video. I don't do the text anymore. And I think stylistically, it looks really good. But yeah, Final Cut Pro is what I use. You really, I would say, advice. This is not a time-saving tool, but it will if you get good at the skill. So that's color grading. You got to really understand when you're filming at the wedding day, you need to be very muted,
Yeah, I know.
neutral,
I know.
like whatever your color settings on your camera, like your saturations, crank all that down. Now this is going to make it more challenging on your autofocus. That could be a whole other video, but do that so that you have more room. Because you only get one chance at a wedding, like if that cloud comes over or that sun comes over, you need to be able to figure out how to work that out in the editing suite.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I just had today one talk with our editor. So she showed me just two cameras. One is the white, really, and the next is dark, so dark. I'm not the editor, but I understand how difficult it will be to make it similar, or at least something similar.
Yeah. Because if it's all white is really on the outer ends, no information. There's nothing there. Dark, you can recover more from dark, but again, that's just where that practice comes in. And in the editing suite, you can fix a lot of that stuff, but that's where good communication.
It will take a lot of time.
So if you have a team where you have editors and you have videographers, that's where that communication is really, don't have a wall. Like have that cross communication where it's like, Tom, you filmed this the other day and it looked like a explosion. Like I need dial down the light just a little bit. Kind of help me out here. So yeah, but I mean, you kind of learn those skills as you go. But learning how to color grade, that was very hard for me because color grading starts in the camera and ends in the editing suite, and they both have to be together. Like you can't always keep fixing your problems. You got to solve them before you have them, or prevent them actually. But yeah, that's in the editing suite. And then I'm not sure what you guys do as far as delivery, but exporting. exporting it appropriately is a big deal. The reason is a lot of the platforms, not necessarily MediaZilla, or if you're doing like Dropbox, say, because that's the raw file. The client is getting the raw file. But if they're wanting to share it or on some type of platform like YouTube, it's gonna kill the quality a little bit. So, oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so for delivery, we usually use Frame. To our clients, for us, Frame is great because it's suitable to make comments. So during the video, the client can make comments and some, I don't know, even draw on the
That's
video.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why, and we like it. And one more good thing for Frame, because it's not spoiled the quality, so it can be Full HD, 4K. It's okay for you. Yeah,
it kind of keeps your high quality, and then however the client wants to pull it on their phone or on their TV, they can. So I always kind of export pretty high. To the point where MediaZilla is like, "Are you sure you want to upload at this bit rate?" And I'm like, "Just do it." And it's like, I got plenty of room. I just do it because I know if the client, when they go to download their video, because I'm not sure, they can do whatever they want to with their video. My contract doesn't really have a lot of delivery requirements as far as where they can use it. I kind of give them the rights to it. So some clients are okay with that. Some want something different. But if they want to upload it, I want to make sure I give them a file to where even if they screw up, my work still looks really good. So I don't want to export for YouTube right out of Final Cut. And then YouTube downgrades it, and then they download it from YouTube, through some other software, and then they share it with their friends. They're like, "Nick did your videography? This looks terrible." It's like quality control. You want to have that quality control. So learning how to export with bit rates and anticipate how the client's going to view it. But I think Frame is, it's an easier way to I don't use it, but the comment thing, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting because it's suitable for checking. So you can comment, you can compare different versions on one screen. It's okay. So you see the difference in color, in shots, etc. So
because it can allow them to like make a suggestion on like I kind of like this, or maybe like take that thing out. That happens too, because some things clients are particular about, like maybe I do some B-roll of like a little statue at the hotel or something. They're like, that doesn't align with whatever we're about. And it's like, oh, I just like the color of it. I didn't know that it was so got to be sensitive to that. But any other questions that you got as far as kind of to help out?
I guess it's all. I guess it's all. Thanks for your time. Thanks for interview. So if you need any help, we will be glad to help you with editing. According to experts, before to the expert, we usually ask questions and requirements to expert settings. So no worries about it.
Okay.
And so in a case you decided to work with us, for your help, we give you $50 discount. So we'll be happy to help you.
Oh, that's great.
Thanks for your time. Thanks for your time. Really, this was very useful, and got some useful information from you. Thank you.
Good. You guys are very welcome. And after this, send me a link when you guys work on the article. That way I can kind of link it back to the video. This was great. Really appreciate reaching out.
Me too. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you later.
Have a nice day. Bye.
You too. Bye.